So we just started recording, but the class had started earlier. We just completed the Mangalacharan prayers and the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya portion. So we'll now recite the invocation verses for Srimad Bhagavatam, the 3 verses. Narayanam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Nandagopa Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So we will switch to the Jamboard and we will start sharing. So can you see the Jamboard still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Okay, very good. 1 second. What do you see? Wait, just give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry for all this delay. Can you see the writing?
Yes.
Okay, great.
We can see.
Okay, sounds good. I have less space on my table now because my laptop is occupying the space and I have to keep the iPad also. So trying to fit everything together. Okay. We removed 1 second. Okay. So we are on, so we just completed a long series on Ajamila, and the main focus of that is the power and the glories of the holy name. So glories and power of the holy name. So that was the main focus of the Ajamila pastime. And then after that, we started with the discussion on the 10 offenses to the holy name. Because Ajamila, he chanted the name offenselessly. So what are the offenses so that we can chant the holy name without offenses? So we must strive to chant the holy name of the Lord without these offenses. And there are 10 offenses mentioned in the Padma Puran. That's what we started discussing. And then we also discussed from the Nam Aparadha stage to the Nam Abhas stage, where we are beginning to chant without offenses, and that puts us on the path of pure devotional service, bhakti yoga, and towards the path of Shuddha Nama. So these are the three stages we discussed. So in the Nam Aparadha stage, which is where I am, we are chanting with 10 offenses. And mostly we are chanting with all 10 offenses. All of them are being committed, or most are being committed, or some are being committed. But in my case, it is all of them. So how can we begin to eliminate one by one, the various offenses, so that we come from the all stage to most stage to some stage, and finally to the none stage. And when we come to the none stage, then we can, somewhere here, we begin to go to the Nam Abhas stage. And then we can go to the Shuddhanam stage. Messages are coming. What are the messages? Oh, this is something else. Let me shut it down. Okay. So that is what we had discussed last time. And the first offense, number one, that we had discussed was Vaishnava aparadha. And it is a very, very serious offense. And we had discussed several things as part of a Vaishnava aparadha, that who is a Vaishnava? And this criteria should mainly be applied to ourselves, not to judge others. So this is for ourselves. Who is a Vaishnava? So we need to see is, am I behaving like a Vaishnava? Not whether he is behaving like a Vaishnava, but whether am I behaving like a Vaishnava. We discussed 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. We discussed, and the most important quality, oh, my iPad is also running low. Today, everything is going wrong. And the most important quality is surrender to Krishna. That is the number one quality of a Vaishnava. So this is an internal symptom, but we discussed some external symptoms as well. Then we discussed what are the offenses to a Vaishnava, and the most important offense is criticism of a Vaishnava. We discussed 4 types of criticism. These were based on his social background. Next is based on his past activities or actions or faults or words that were spoken in the past. Then for any accidental fall downs that we may witness in someone, or for any sinful habits that he may be currently performing or he may be currently having. So those are the criticisms that we could criticize a Vaishnava for, and that is an aparadha. Then the next question was, why does one commit Vaishnava aparadha? I'm just doing a quick recap here. Why does one commit Vaishnava aparadha? What is the tendency to commit Vaishnava aparadha? And the tendency to commit Vaishnava aparadha comes from asat sangha. This is the root cause. Asat sangha is the root cause of giving the rise to Vaishnava aparadha. We looked at 5 types of asat sangha. And these were association with opposite gender, with illicit intent, association with Mayavadis, association with pretenders who externally are pretending to be a devotee, but internally are materialists or sense gratifiers. Then next is even externally who are sense gratification, of course, internally also. So basically materialists. And the fifth category is atheists. Then we discussed how to avoid Vaishnava aparadha. And in this context, we discussed that Vaishnava aparadha originates in the mind and then into actions or words. So all aparadha originates in the mind. This is the number one sort of seed. Seed is sown in the mind, and then it germinates within the mind. It gets some fodder food in the mind, and then it pops out like in actions and words. So the best policy or the best method is to kill it in the mind itself, not let it take hold in the mind. Even though offenses done in Kali Yuga in the mind are forgiven, they don't count. But the problem is that if we let it be in the mind, it could show up in actions and words. So the best policy is to kill it in the mind before it has a chance to come out. And then we discussed that we should train ourselves. Training is very important because we are surrounded by asat sangha. We cannot avoid asat sangha unless we are living in a dham. There also it may be hard, but definitely in a very materialistic place like America, or what to speak of America, even Bombay, Delhi, or all the places since gratification is taking hold. So we are surrounded by asat sangha. How should we make sure that we don't have the tendency to commit Vaishnava aparadha, to not let it enter the mind? So we have to do very sincere training, and training involves to the practice of, or the training is practice of giving association to others, but not taking association from those whom we need to stay away from. So we discussed about that. And then we discussed how should we take association. So giving association we talked about, and taking so this is about, both of these are how to associate with in asat sangha, how to associate, so to say, in presence of asat sangha, which basically means how to not take association. Give it physically, there may be association, but don't take it. Then what kind of association to take? So that is something then we discussed, how to take association. Taking association from those who are chanting the holy name, those who have taken shelter or diksha from a bona fide guru, and from pure devotees. So we should, in the nectar of instruction, it is given that those who are chanting, we should pay our respect to them. We should touch the feet of those who have taken shelter or diksha from a bona fide guru. And from pure devotees, we should take vapu and vani association, follow their instructions, hanker for their association of their words. And in Vapu association, we discussed 3 types of association: accepting their food remnants, accepting the water that has been used to wash their feet, and accepting the dust of their feet. So this is how we can take the association of pure devotees. So we had stopped there, and this was just a very quick recap of what we discussed last time. So yeah, so we will continue from here today. So now the only topic that is remaining in Vaishnava aparadha is how to rectify the how to rectify if one has committed, whether it could be knowingly or unknowingly, or however, let's say it has been committed and you realize that you have committed Vaishnava aparadha. So how to rectify it? What is the remedy for this? So very beautifully, Acharyas have given a 3-step process. So there is a 3-step process for rectifying Vaishnava aparadha that one has committed in the past. The first step is honest repentance within one's heart. Now, this can be done in both cases if that Vaishnava is physically present on this planet or not. So, very honest repentance within one's heart. And especially if one is present, then one should approach the devotee against whom the offense has been committed and very seriously beg for forgiveness. Very seriously, one should beg for forgiveness if that opportunity exists. And by nature, the devotees are very merciful. So there is no if else here, that if they forgive or not, what to do. There is only one branch here, which is they will forgive. There is no other branch. What if they don't forgive? This question has not even been answered because this does not happen. They will forgive, and then, the forgiveness is obtained. The third step is very, very important. So I will just switch the page. The third step, it's not a step, so to say, but a third point is that do not wait too long. This process of one and or number 2, depending on if that Vaishnava is present or not, should be done immediately or as soon as possible. It should be done as soon as possible. So why is it that it should be done as soon as possible? For the same reason that we should not let the Vaishnava aparadha continue in our mind. Because if the aparadha is there and it has not been eliminated, then it has the potential. Why? As soon as possible? Because the sinful reaction. Hello?
Sorry.
Because the sinful reaction of that aparadha has the potency for causing future aparadha. And this makes us go deeper into the aparadha. So if we don't want to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into the aparadha cycle, so to say, then we must eliminate it as soon as possible. It is like a cancer, just like cancer. The sooner we treat it, as we all know, the best treatment for cancer is early detection and early cure. Then it has the best chance of recovering fully. And in this situation, or in this is the most important point among the 3 points. And I want to show this verse. We have already seen this discussion of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. So I want to show this very important verse. You all can still see the screen. So I'm showing Srimad Bhagavatam, and Ambarish Maharaj pastime is in Canto 9, chapters 4 and 5, mainly in chapter 4. And there, if you remember, towards the end, Durvasa Muni ends up going to Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana. And there he begs forgiveness from Lord Narayana. But then Lord Narayana expresses his inability to do anything, because only Ambarish Maharaj can give the forgiveness. So in the first few verses, this beautiful section starts from verse number 63. Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana's response to Durvasa Muni. So it starts with the Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahman. This is Sri Bhagavan Vacha. So here he starts by saying, I am Aham Bhakta Paradhino. I am a Paradhina. I am a subservient entity to the devotee. And then he begins explaining his inability. And finally he says, but I have a solution. He says, Upayam kathayishyami. Let me tell you an upaya. Tava vipra shrinushvatat. That now you must listen to this upaya that I am telling you. And then, one second, what's going on? Can you still see the screen? Or no? Okay, fine. So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, or Lord Vishnu says, Upayam kathayishyami tava vipra shrunuvashvatat ayam hi atma abhicharaste. So that this aparadh that you have done, this in your pride, atma abhichara, out of your pride that you have done this aparadh, for this I am going to tell you a upaya, a solution. And the solution starts with this line, Yatastam yahi machiram. So this is very, very important, where this line says Yatastam yahi machiram. The first thing he says of the upaya is you must go immediately. So that is the translation. Therefore, you should go to him immediately. Ma chiram, as we had in Bhagavad Gita also, this word comes na chirat, that without delay, I deliver my devotee, na chirat, partha. So in the same way here, there is ma chiram, without delay, do not wait even a moment. Yahi, immediately you should go without delay. Sadhushu prahitam tejah prahartuh kurute ashivam. So like this, you should go to Ambarish Maharaj, and then that way you can remove the inauspiciousness that you have caused. So the essence of this whole verse, the key instruction, and then there are more instructions in the 70th and 71st verse. But if you see really the actionable part of this whole verse is that you should go immediately. Everything else, Lord Krishna is saying, I have a upay for you, Shrunuvasva, listen carefully, because you have acted in a self-envy or pride way. You should go to the sadhu, and then you should, because you are the, if you don't, one's so-called prowess when employed against a devotee certainly harms he who employs it. Thus, it is the subject, not the object, who is harmed. All this is theory. The only action statement is go immediately. That is the main point of this 69th verse. And of course, in the later verses, Lord Vishnu says that you should go and beg forgiveness, etc. But the first point is go immediately. And that is the point that is being made here. Do not wait too long. One must go immediately. So this is the sort of the theory of, or the process of atonement or remedy or rectification of Vaishnava aparadha. So that is the sort of the conclusion of the Vaishnava aparadha section. So now we will go into the next, the second offense. Offense number 2. So the offense number 2, let me show you, is to consider the names of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva to be equal to the name of Lord, or independent, or the name of the name of Lord Vishnu. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. That is the second offense. So let us try to go into a little bit understanding of what is this offense meaning. So there are two aspects. There are two aspects of this offense. So please try to understand this carefully. One is, let us say, Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. The person equal to name of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. So this is the name. Okay. And on the contrary, the person Lord Vishnu equal to name of Lord Vishnu. So here is the person aspect, and here is the name aspect. So which of these two statements, A or B, is the statement A true? That the person Brahma or Shiva is the same as the name Brahma or Shiva. Is this true or false?
It is false. Only the second statement is true.
Very nice. So the answer is, this statement is false. The name of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva is not equal to the name of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. Now we can go into a deeper discussion, but the name of anyone other than Lord Vishnu is not equal to the person whoever name is in consideration. They are two different entities. So, and this statement is true. The second statement is true. And that is what we have learned from the whole Ajamila pastime and all the discussions that we have had. That the name of Lord Vishnu is the same as person Lord Vishnu himself. So, first of all, this is a dualistic conception. That means name and person are different. That is dualistic. And this is non-dualistic. The second one. There is no difference between the name and the person. So the non-dualisticism only applies to Lord Vishnu. Everything else is dualistic. The whole material world is dualistic. Dvanda mohena. It is full of duality. Name is different from person, and so many other things. So if we consider the name of Lord Vishnu, the offense that is mentioned here is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu, which means that we are considering that the name of this statement to be dualistic. That is one of the understandings. Because we know that the name of anyone, in this verse we mention Lord Shiva, but anyone's name is not equal to the person's name. So there is dualism in the material world. And by that offense is to apply that dualism to Lord Vishnu as well. And which means we separate the person Vishnu from his name Vishnu. We are separating it. And typically also when we separate, the person is higher, the name is lower, isn't it? In the material world. If the person is there, you are more likely to pay respect to the person than to the name in a material sense. So this is a very big offense to the name. First of all, we are treating the name to be different than the person, just like you would treat the name to be different in case of any other living entity, whether also it be a Devi or a Devata or demigod or even Lord Shiva. What to speak of Lord Brahma or other entities. So the name is, we are applying the dualistic mentality to Lord Shiva, to Lord Narayana, and that is an offense to the holy name, because we are treating the name to be different and in most cases lower than the person. And the second understanding is more straightforward, that typically we consider the person Lord Vishnu and Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to be equal to each other. And that has been in many places refuted or established as not true through the Shastra, including Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen Lord Brahma committing some offenses against Lord Krishna. We have seen so many instances. The Brahma Vimohan Lila is a very, very famous instance where Brahmaji gets bewildered and commits an offense not to Lord Krishna, but to his devotees, even more sinister or even more problematic. So, like this, we understand that the position of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma is not equal to the position of Lord Vishnu. So those are the two aspects. The person Brahma and Vishnu are not equal to Lord. The Brahma and Shiva are not equal to Lord Vishnu. Neither are they independent. They cannot act independently. They are also subservient to Lord Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava, which means that he is a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. That is what is mentioned. That means Lord Shambhu is a great topmost Vaishnava, which means he is a follower of Lord Vishnu. So he cannot be equal or independent to Lord Vishnu. So these points have been mentioned and need to be kept in mind. Then one final question that I would like to entertain here is that why do Vedas recommend worship of devatas or demigods? Why do the Vedas recommend this? So, when all of you have attended Bhagavad Gita classes and have read Bhagavad Gita, so the answer is already clear, but I just want to re-emphasize that answer. The answer is that for materialistic people who have no conception, which means they have no conception of anything beyond their ego, beyond their false ego, that is, beyond their ahankar, that is a materialist. I'm doing everything for my benefit. So for materialistic people, to give them some sense of putting faith in someone superior to them, to themselves. Some conception of shelter or surrender. That, okay, fine, it is for your own benefit. If you worship the demigod, you will get some benefit, but you have to bend down. There is a slight element of taking shelter, taking surrender, bending down to somebody else, a higher authority, a superior authority. And then the hope is that one could apply that surrender or shelter to the supreme person, Vishnu. So first start with the demigods, and then one can go to Lord Vishnu. Because when one goes to Lord Vishnu, there is no material benefit. Vishnu never gives anything material. The demigods do give material benefits, but in exchange for shelter or sharana. So, okay, like a man was drowning, a very materialistic man was drowning, and somebody came to save him in a boat. And he said, give me your hand, give me your hand. That man was so materialistic, he had never given anything to anyone. So he would not give his hand even. He did not even understand the word, what is the meaning of give. His only conception was take, take, take. Even he's drowning, still he cannot give his hand. Then the person in the boat realized what is going on. Then he said, take my hand, take my hand. Then he took the hand and got saved. So in the same way, the demigods saying, okay, take some benefit, but at least accept my authority. And in exchange for that, I will give you material benefits. So they do that. Okay, nice, no problem. I will, compromise a little bit. But at least they get the understanding of giving or bending down. And then there is a higher openness or possibility for them to take shelter of Lord Vishnu for the spiritual benefit, but not for material benefit. So that is the reason why demigods are respected and they are worshipped, and the process is given in the Vedas as a bona fide process. But in Bhagavad Gita, as we all know, Lord Krishna says, no need to do that. Directly you can come to me and I will protect you from all kinds of danger. Trayate mahato bhayat. The last point I want to mention is that, so just to mention, the devotees of the Lord Vishnu have utmost respect for all demigods or devotees, have utmost respect for them. And all they ask them, the conversation between the devotee and demigods is to request them to show the path to Krishna. So respect them and offer various offerings to them, like offering prasad. It's totally fine to offer prasad to the devotees and demigods, prasad of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, and then request them for showing the path to Krishna. So this should be our relationship to the demigods. We should not reject them. We should not disrespect them or discard them under any circumstances. If one has committed the offense, then the rectification of offense number 2 is 3 steps again. First step, now they are not present in front of us, just like in the previous case, the Vaishnava aparadha. The Vaishnava may be present physically. So repent sincerely or honestly within one's heart. That is the first step. Second step is take full shelter of Lord Vishnu through the process of Shravana and Kirtana. And the third step is to vow to not commit this offense again. So these are the steps for rectification of the offense to the holy name. So it is a bigger offense to the holy name to consider it to be separate from the Lord. That is something that one should remember all the time. Okay, the third offense. So we'll progress into offense number 3, but it is 7 o'clock already. And this one I will just introduce and we will finish it next time. So this is a very, very important, just like the first one. This one is very, very important offense. So this offense number 3 is to disobey the orders of a spiritual master. If you see here, it says number 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master or guru. So disobey the orders of guru. That is offense number 3. So this is a very, very detailed topic. We will spend at least half of next class talking about this. But here, the first thing that we must understand is that who is guru? Who is a guru? Or in other words, the significance of guru or significance of the position of guru. And then, so this is the first thing that we will talk about. The next thing that we will talk about is who is a guru or who is a guru. So I have kind of written it here, but there is a difference. Who is a guru means what are the attributes of a guru? Attributes or the nature or the characteristics of a guru. Here, who is a guru, I meant to say for us, or who is a guru in our life. Like, what is the position of a guru in our life? Who is a guru for us? What does guru mean for us? Then the second topic is who is a guru in general. And then we will talk about the various types of offenses to a guru. Just like we did in Vaishnava aparadha, what gives rise to offense against a guru? Not a guru, I don't want to write a guru, against guru. Against guru means against our guru. And finally, rectification. So these are the things that we will cover in this. And what are the various types of offenses and non-offenses? which mean that what is the wrong way and what is the right way to approach or to serve a guru so that we don't cause offenses. So how can we relate with a guru in an offenseless way? And what are the offensive ways of relating with a guru? So all these things we will go through in our discussion. So yeah, we will stop here. I'm just thinking, can we go stretch more or what? But for next time, it will be very nice if you can meditate on this verse, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 19.151. Very, very famous verse. Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bija. So we have discussed this verse many, many times, but in that verse, the importance of Guru is coming out very nicely. That we cannot get the bij of bhakti directly from Krishna. So this is the seed of bhakti and seed of bhakti. It cannot directly come from us. It cannot directly come from Krishna. It has to come in between. There has to be Guru. Only through Guru or Guru Parampara, through a sequence of Guru or Gurus, it can come. And then this seed can fructify. So in a sense, that is the importance or significance of Guru, is to give us bhakti. The whole thing that we are understanding and reading, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, all that is a waste. It's just theory if it does not come from Guru. So that is the significance, in a sense, of Guru. If we want the seed of bhakti, the only way we can get it is from a Guru. Like you can only get grain from a store. You cannot go to the farm and you start yourself farming. That is the job of the farmer. So that's the analogy. Otherwise, you will go hungry. There may be a lot of grain out there, but if you don't go to the store, you cannot get it, and you cannot get it directly from the farmland. So you have to go to the Guru. So please think about this. Please read that whole section very nicely. It's a beautiful section, 19.151 to approximately 165 or even 180, 175, 180, wherever, as far as you can go. Please read, and we will continue this discussion next time. So we'll stop here. I'll just see if there are any questions or corrections. Did the Zoom work okay? Audio or video was okay?
Yes, it was all good.
Okay, great. Yes, Narottam Vilas Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nanad Pranam. Thank you, Prabhupada. Can you hear me, Prabhu? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class as always, Prabhu. So I don't want to. I know you said chapter 7, and I don't want it to stretch too long. So I just remembered when you were mentioning about Vaishnava aparadha and the way to rectify the Vaishnava aparadha, Prabhu. I remember two incidents from Chaitanya Charitamrita. The pastime of Devanand Pandit and Shiva's Thakur. and how he got the mercy of Krishna Pandit, and the other pastime of Shiva Pandit and Gopal Chapala, where he gets, and Mahaprabhu finally tells him. So it's a beautiful pastime, Chaitanya Prabhu. I remember those two pastimes for Vaishnava and how, and so you said the theory and the practical, you got mentioned in Bhagavatam as well, but Chaitanya it is very much dealing of the devotees as well, a lot of dealing, interaction with devotees, and Mahaprabhu himself shows the example of how to rectify the issue. So I just thought of that too. And one more thing to it's mentioned too that what you mentioned, Lord Vishnu does not give material benefits. So I want to add to, of course, he doesn't give as the demigods, but I remember giving material things in a way by the example of Dhuru Maharaj, where he mentioned that I don't want, but Lord Narayan said, no, you have to have, because one should not think that, oh, by going Vishnu, we will take everything, or he doesn't give anything, just to show everyone that I can give this also. That's why I give this.
Even
and I know you will
Sudama.
stay pure. That I have no problem with that. I'm sure of that by mercy. But you have that also. And the other example of Prachetas, after coming from meditation, Lord Vishnu said you can enjoy like heavenly kingdom for 1 billion years, and then if you come back, you will come back to me. Well, Lord Vishnu said. So yes, Lord Vishnu does give, but he knows that his devotees won't be deviated. Unlike the gods.
That is the
So
most
I just want to
important.
mention these 2 points.
Yes, very nice.
Try
Very,
to.
thank you, very nice. Like in case of Sudama Brahmana,
Yes.
he gives him everything. Even to Bali Maharaj, after taking away everything, he promises him
Yes.
to be awarded the position of Indra in the next Manvantara.
Exactly.
So all those he gives. The key difference is that he knows that the devotee will handle it.
Exactly, absolutely. Yes.
If he knows that the devotee is able to not be deviated by that, then he gives. But then the point is that the essence is, it's Lord Vishnu is giving something that the devotee doesn't care about.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Give me something. I will take it and put it on the side.
Yeah, or use it in Krishna service again.
Or use it in Krishna service. Yes, very nice.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Very nice points. Anything else?
I had one question about the demigods slide. So I got the point about respecting like demigods because they serve Krishna, and that makes a lot of sense. So when you said we should offer offerings, so what exactly does that like practically mean?
So I gave an example like offering them the prasad of Lord Vishnu. So basically serving them like a very respectful guest or a respected personality. How would you serve a devotee? So, of course, this does not mean that one should start doing demigod worship. But if one has been attached to demigods, then one can continue it in the mood of serving them as devotees of Lord Vishnu, because that's what they are. We are not just putting a label on their head. Now, from today, you are devotee of Lord Vishnu, and I will treat you like that. No, the reality is that all demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu. That's who they are. That's how they got that position. That's how Lord Vishnu has engaged them in his service of maintaining this material universe. So they are trusted agents of Lord Vishnu. And we should treat them like devotees of Lord Vishnu, and whatever we would do to a devotee of Lord Vishnu, we could do for them. One example is to offer them prasad. Okay. But it does not mean that if one is directly worshipping Lord Vishnu, then one should add worship of demigods to one's bhajan or one's sadhana. No need for that. There are 33 million demigods. Then it will not be practical. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, great. Thank you so much for attending, and we will see you next week in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or somewhere else in some other devotional setting. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.